It is sugar season. All right, here we are. Every year I come to you and I give you all the tips and tricks that you need to have a healthy holiday season. The truth is that the average American will gain 5 pounds during the holiday season. And the reason is because it's sugar season. Let's face it. There's parties, there's excess alcohol, there's a ton of carbohydrates, all the food you could want, the most indulgent things, all concentrated from November 15th, because that's kind of when parties start, through Thanksgiving. And then boom, here we go. We are going full force into the Christmas and holiday season. And then we get to New Year's, and New Year's is disastrous. And then, boy, January 2nd, everybody's ready to line up, run to the gym and start their new year. So my whole goal for doing this is because I don't want you to have to annihilate your health before you get to a place where you like have to come to a crisis and do something about it. I would love for you to go into January 1st feeling incredible, feeling confident about the way that you cared for yourself and your health. And it's really simple. It does take some discipline, but we're going to go through a few things here so that you can see just how simple that is. So share my screen here and pull up our presentation. And here we go. All right. So I created this many years ago. Actually, this says copyright 2015. So this is 10 years ago that I created this because I had so many people asking me, what can I do during the holidays to protect myself? And I'm going to go through my 7 keys to healthy holiday eating. And hopefully you'll find some value in this. Please make sure that if you are watching this video, always subscribe, share this information. And if you like the information, please leave a comment because that helps other people to see and to find me and to be able to also benefit from this great information. So let's get into it. You go to a party hold on, let me go back here. All right. Before we get to the party, I want you to think about presetting and resetting. Now, these are 2 of the biggest benefits for you. If you know you have a party coming up or a dinner or something, a gala, I have a gala coming up on Saturday. And so this whole week, I am doing what I call presetting. So that means that this whole week, I'm really paying attention to my proper food intake, making sure that I'm getting good protein, a lot of fiber, making sure I'm eating as clean as possible, no alcohol. I'll save that for Saturday. So think about all the ways you can just scrub your dietary intake, take your lifestyle to the cleanest possible edge so that then you have a better buffer come time for the event. Then post-event, you're going to reset. So great, I'm going to go to the gala on Saturday, and then Sunday, we do it all over. I'll go to yoga, I'll go to hot yoga, I'm going to sweat it all out, I'm going to move my body. Of course, I'm going to exercise this week. But then again, it's hydration and proper foods and eating as clean as possible. So it's presetting, do your thing, have your fun, and then reset. And I had a patient come in this morning who has been working with me on nutrition, and she's down 12 pounds now, I think, which is great over the past 6 weeks. So it's perfect. It's coming off slowly. She's feeling great. And she went with her sister last weekend, and she said, she goes, I had a beer with my sister and I wasn't sure how I was going to feel. And I forgot she ate something too. It wasn't horrible, but she had a couple of bites of something. And I said, how'd you feel? And she said, actually, I felt okay. She goes, it didn't take me down as much as when we first started cleaning her up and detoxing. She had a piece of bread, and it was a sourdough bread. So it was supposedly good bread. She had a piece of bread, and she said she had a stomach ache and she was bloated. And it really destroyed her for a couple of days. So now what she's doing is she's building this incredible foundation. So she has a buffer. So she can go out and she can have dinner with her sister and enjoy things. So that's what I want for you. So now let's get into it. So we've preset, we've got our gala coming up. And so when I get to the gala, I'm going to look around. I'm not just going to go for the first thing that I see. I don't know what this is about. It's my first year going to this event. I don't know if it's a strolling dinner. I don't know if it's a sit down. I have no idea. But the thing that I'm going to do is make sure that I look around. I'm treating my calories like a bank account. So I don't want to overdraw. I want to make sure that whatever investment I have in my bank, from my lifestyle, my hydration, my good quality eating, my exercise, I want to make sure I protect that investment, and I don't want to make too big of a withdrawal. So you want to look at your top one or two things that catch your eye. Is this going to hurt me or harm me? How many calories is this actually going to cost you? And when you look at that, think about, there's going to be something that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie, or whatever your thing is, tiramisu. I mean, it could be a dessert. It could be a really cool cocktail. It could be a Cosmo, or I don't care what it is, but you want to make sure that if don't choose 10 things that are super indulgent, just choose one. It doesn't mean have overindulge in multiple martinis too. So lots and lots of veggies. I usually end up hanging out by the veggie table, the veggie platter, but don't actually hang out near the table. So go to the table, get your food, and walk away. Because the worst thing that we can do is stand next to that table, have conversations, and graze. You end up not knowing what the heck you're eating or how much you've eaten. It's really easy to overeat. This is one of my biggest secret weapons, is eating before the party. Don't save your calories. Even if you know there's going to be great food there, define great food. You want to make sure that you show up there with relatively satiated. You just don't want to show up completely hungry, because you're going to overindulge every time. You're going to eat too much, too fast, and too much of the wrong thing too quickly. And your body is not going to be able to process the hunger response, meaning your satiety centers won't shut down as fast as you need them to. So you'll end up completely overindulging. And you're going to the party because of the people. And I know people are like, yeah, it's about the food, but it's really about the people and the relationships. So think about that. You really want to focus on your friends, your family, your coworkers, whoever you're going to see, and make that the priority. We don't want to show up at the party hungry, because that's going to break your bank. You're going to absolutely make you're going to overdraw. So think about it like this. If you've ever grocery shopped when you're hungry, and then you end up with this giant basket of your shopping cart full of food, and you're looking at it and you're going, oh my God, how am I going to eat all this food? Or I never eat like this. It's because you're hungry. You're going to do the same thing at the party. So make sure you eat something, some good high protein, some fiber, something satisfying. I will typically have a really good quality protein shake. I might have a little bit of cheese for the fat. I might have, a piece of chicken breast or some kind of good quality protein to really satisfy me. And then I'll head off. Bring a dish to the party. Now, this is if you're going to a dinner party at somebody's house. I'm going to a gala for the chamber. So obviously I'm not going to bring a dish, but if you're invited to somebody's house, always ask, what can I bring? Or volunteer, say, I'll bring a veggie tray, or I'll bring a fruit tray, or I'll bring, one of my things that I take all the time is veggies and hummus. I make homemade hummus, and I'll take veggies. Hummus is, chickpeas are a complete protein. You've got your veggies. It's very satisfying. So even if there isn't good quality food there, I can pretty much fill up on hummus pretty easily. There's a lot of fat in it from the sesame oil. And so you end up getting satisfied, and you won't gorge on the other things. So anyway, if you're going to take a dish to the party, make sure it's something you like. Make sure that it's something that you will eat lots of if the choices aren't worthy, and it should be something healthy. Okay, so keep that in mind. Obviously, we need to limit our alcohol intake when we go to these parties. It's especially if it's like an open bar, or somebody's serving alcohol at their house. It's really easy to overindulge. Just because alcohol is free does not mean that you should be overindulging in it. So again, choosing your calories wisely. I might do like a I might do a vodka or a tequila drink, and then I'll have a glass of red wine, and then that's it. I'm typically done. So, or I might have two. I pretty much have like a two cocktail limit. So, especially if I'm driving, I don't want to do anything more than that. I don't want to risk it, and I want to be safe. And I'm going to drink that, but I'm also going to be drinking water in conjunction with that, so so that I don't end up getting too much alcohol in me. So be very mindful of what you're drinking, how fast you're drinking it, and always drink it with water. Now, if you look here on the, so here on our alcohol, so champagne, 4 ounces is 84 calories. Gin rum, vodka, whiskey, tequila, 1.5 ounces is 97 calories. Now, this does not include your mixers, and this is where a lot of people get into a lot of trouble with calorically, because then they'll add like some sugar mixer to it, and then the combination of alcohol and sugar is just disastrous. It's terrible for your blood sugar. It will make you more hungry. You're going to want to go eat more of that crappy food. So be super mindful of how you bring in the alcohol. I usually just do like a vodka and soda, or tequila and soda, squeeze a lime. So that soda water is also 0 calories. You're not introducing more sugar into your diet. So keeping it clean that way is also really helpful. Plus, you've got the hydration of the soda water. All right. So again, super mindful of your alcohol calories, because they add up really fast. All right, drinking lots of water. So on the previous screen, we talked about our alcohol, and we want to make sure that we're drinking water. So 1 glass of water per, there we go. 1 glass of water per drink or more, right? So if I'm having a glass of wine, I want my water glass to be full. I don't want to know how much water I've drank. I just want to know that I'm drinking water. And what that means is it's like I'm constantly going to be topping off my water. I might have 3 glasses of water to 1 glass of wine. So really always drinking that water helps your body to stay hydrated, because alcohol becomes very dehydrating, and sugar is as well. So water helps us to flush our system of impurities. It nourishes you, it aids digestion, hydrates your muscles, and gives you that feeling of feeling full, that satiety, so you don't go for more of the garbage. If you're feeling thirsty, you're probably already dehydrated. But this is why I always say start hydrating early in the day. And dehydration is the #1 cause of fatigue. So all of you feeling tired, you've got brain fog, you're not sleeping well, and headaches, you want to get more water into the system. And the rule of thumb is half of your body weight in ounces. So make sure you are getting that hydration in. I have this that I keep next to my desk. It's yellow because of electrolytes. So I have my creatine, I have my electrolytes in there, and I filled this this morning, and then I drink about halfway, and then I keep topping it off. So you can see there's still some bits in the bottom, and so I just drink it slowly over the day. Normally I'd have about 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C in there as well, but I'm out of my powdered C. I have more coming. So there's that. Okay. Water also helps with weight loss. So for people who are having difficulty losing weight, you're probably also dehydrated. Your body needs a good way to get toxins out, and water's helpful. It also helps with bowel movements. And a lot of people are walking around constipated. And it's typically, if I have a patient who's constipated, I'll ask them how much water they drink in a day, and they will say, not enough. They know, like, if you're listening to this and you're not pooping every day, you're not drinking enough water. So get that water on deck. All right. #6, we want to avoid damaging substances. So sugar, always, we know sugar is just going to drive our metabolic system into the ground. And so being super mindful of that. If I see a dessert, I might have 1 bite, maybe 2. I'm not going to eat the whole thing. Don't give me a whole slice of pie or cake. I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to have like 1 or 2 bites. I'm going to savor it. I'm going to let my brain be satisfied with it. And then that's it. But I'm also not going to waste my sugar calories on something that is not great, hasn't been made great. My daughter's 21st birthday was on the 20th last week, 2 weeks ago. And I made homemade carrot cake with cream cheese frosting, just like my mom used to make. And I loaded it with carrots and I loaded it with unsweetened coconut. And it was so, so, so good. And I actually backed off on the sugar a little bit. So it was just this wonderful, dense, like nutrient dense carrot cake that I was like, this thing's amazing. But I just needed like 1 or 2 bites of it. And I was like, oh my God, it's just, brought back memories. But I could have gone to the store. I could have gone to the grocery store and bought a carrot cake and it would not have tasted like the one I made. So when you're putting that kind of love and attention into it, you pretty much are, I don't think you're going to overindulge in it. So enjoy it if you make it, and just take your time eating it so you can be satisfied with it. And then the next 3, no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or colors. This has been my rule of thumb since the 70s, since my mother put the whole family on what's called the Feingold diet. My brother was hyperactive, and my mom, the doctor wanted my mom to put him on Ritalin. And she attempted, and she put him on 1 dose, gave him 1 dose 1 day, and said it turned him into a zombie. And she was like, there has to be something better. So she found the Feingold diet in the 70s. In the absence of Google, she found the Feingold diet. And his big things were no artificial sweeteners, flavors, and colors for these kids. It causes inflammation in our brains. It causes us to be like, our brains are like going crazy. We can't sleep. We can't think clearly. It's brain fog. You can't focus. So this is, and how many adults are walking around going, oh, my ADHD, my ADD, like everyone's claiming to have ADD. And if you are in earshot of this and hearing the same thing, probably not. You probably have a gut issue that needs to be cared for, and that you probably have to get some of this garbage out of your system so that your nervous system can calm down, so that your brain can calm down. We can get the inflammation out of your brain and you can think clearer. You can relate to people better. You can have more focus. So artificial sweeteners trick your brain into eating more. You eat something sweet with an artificial sweetener and your brain's like, oh yeah, that gave us our sugar hit. And then a few minutes later, your brain's like, actually, I don't think that was actually sugar. And so it forces you to go back. These are the people who are carboholics. These are people who you have to constantly have carbs. You're constantly having sugar cravings because you're attempting to bypass the sugar cravings and you can't. Your brain is smarter than you. Your brain is bypassing you. So artificial sweeteners, sucralose, Splenda, sweet and low, aspartame, acyl potassium, and acyl K. Most people don't know what those are. And so when you read the label, they are forms of aspartame. So you don't want to, they're poison. They're toxic. They're neurotoxic. So they flare up the nervous system. Again, your brain, your nerves, your body can't function properly. People who consume diet drinks are 5 to 7 pounds heavier because, again, it's forcing that sugar craving. And again, I call these people carbivores. And then the question is, what about stevia and monk fruit and all of that? And only in its purest form. So organic stevia powder with no other additives, organic monk fruit. A lot of times they'll add erythritol. So like Truvia, the Truvia brand is they add erythritol to it. So Truvia is super toxic. So it has stevia, but it has erythritol, which is a sugar alcohol. Sugar alcohols actually cause a disruption in your gut microbiome. And a lot of the people who eat foods with sugar alcohols, erythritol, maltitol, xylitol, will have a lot of excess bloating. So if that sounds like you need to go look at what packaged foods you're having that are called low carb or low cal. Probably has some sort of, and the drinks as well will have maltitol, erythritol, be sweetened with erythritol. This stuff is horrible. Personally, and I have nothing to prove this, but stevia, monk fruit, those taste exactly the same to me as the artificial sweeteners, sucralose, Splenda, aspartame, any of those. They leave the same mouthfeel. They just make my body want to cringe. And I avoid any of that. If I want something with sugar in it, I'm going to eat the thing with sugar and call it a day. I'm fortunate that I don't have sugar cravings. I'm not that person. But I think it's important to understand if you're constantly going for food or drink that you're using stevia or you're using some kind of artificial sweetener, there's a problem. There's a palate problem. There's a brain problem. What is it about your brain, your nervous system, your gut that is making you go towards these sweetened, artificially or otherwise, foods? So avoiding damaging substances. And then as we move into number 6, continued, that would be processed meats and fats. We're going to see a lot of charcuterie. I buy uncured meats. And so that's one way to get around that. Obviously, you're not going to, if you go to a party and there's uncured, it's a charcuterie tray, are you going to ask, is this uncured? Personally, I would just eat the processed meat if that's my only choice over, like a whole bunch of desserts. So just being mindful of that. Highly processed and refined foods, breads, bagels, pastas, snack food. People love to bake this time of year. Butter substitutes such as Smart Balance. What's the other one? Earth Balance. Avoid all of that. Those are just hardened seed oils. They're incredibly inflammatory. They do cause digestive upset, and they can just add more to your gut, the inflammation in your gut and your brain. So we want to avoid those. High fat and sugar combinations. Again, these are going to be like your desserts, your cookies, your cakes, and those together spiking blood sugar, causing more bloating, causing more disruption in the gut microbiome. And then foods with low or no nutritional value. And what I mean by that is foods that are calorically dense and nutritionally poor. So like broccoli is super nutritionally dense and calorically poor, where like a cookie is calorically dense and nutritionally poor. So you want to think of what are the foods you can have with the highest level of nutritional value. And then, of course, there's our excessive alcohol again. So how do we make our food work for us? Choose a small plate. So I'm going to the gala. I'm going to choose a small plate. I'm going to choose foods that take time to digest. So I'm going to go for the vegetables. Meat takes longer to digest than carbohydrates. So I'll probably go more vegetables, more protein heavy. These are foods that are hard to chew. And because they're harder to chew, so think of, again, like a carrot or a piece of broccoli, they take longer to chew and they take longer to digest. So complex carbohydrates, those are going to be your veggies, the things with lots and lots of fiber in them, carrots, celery. Eat all the vegetables that you possibly can. Most of the time people don't go for the vegetables. So eat all the vegetables. And then of course your proteins, you're going to add to that. And your veggies and your complex carbs are going to have your fiber in it. And any healthy fats, if you're at these parties and, there's guacamole dip, olives, nuts, seeds, etc. Go for those because they're very satisfying. And then they have there's a lot of magnesium. There's a lot of minerals in these. They're super healthy for you as long as they're not like candy coated nuts. You want to be super mindful of that. You want to avoid those. Okay. So fiber is our queen of weight loss, and high soluble fiber makes you feel full and energized. Again, I'm going back to, these are going to be mostly your veggies, your nuts, your seeds, those very calorically poor, nutritionally dense foods. When we don't have enough fiber, we get more constipation, cancer, obesity, and heart disease. And so we want to get about 30 to 40 grams a day for optimal health. And examples of this would be beans. And so beans are also like legumes. So think of like bean dip, but it has, make sure that it has like if I make a bean dip to take to a party, I'm probably going to make the bean dip out of the beans, the pinto beans or the black beans. I'm going to make that, blend it, and then I'll add my garlic and onions. And so I'll do a homemade bean dip like that. Great fiber. Hummus, again, super high in fiber. That would be a garbanzo bean. And again, a lot of flavor. Your cruciferous veggies, your whole gluten-free grains. I say gluten-free because a lot of times gluten causes disruption, but we want to be careful about our gluten-free grains as well. I'm thinking more like, this is more like your brown rice, your quinoa versus like gluten-free breads and crackers, because they tend to be high in like rice flour, potato starches, things that are going to spike blood sugar more. And then of course our fruits, nuts, and seeds. Doesn't sound so bad, right? If you follow these 7 tips, you won't feel bloated, tired, cranky, foggy brained, mad at yourself. We walk away from that party and we're beating ourselves up for days, and you're not going to feel fat. You know, we sit back and we're like, oh my God, I feel so fat now. Oh my God, my fat belly. And you start calling yourself names and your brain hears that. And we need to avoid that at all costs. We need our brains to be happy. I want you to be able to feel hungry less often, have more energy. I want you to lose weight and keep it off, especially through the holidays. Protect yourself. So you're also going to have a much better chance of warding off disease and controlling any of those cold and flu symptoms. We are coming into cold and flu season. It's sugar season. The more sugar, the more alcohol, the more detrimental foods you're having, the more you're going to put your body at risk for viruses and other microbes that could be lurking in the air. You will feel like you have much more control over your life. And that gives you empowerment. That makes you feel like, wow, I can do this. I can actually do this for myself. And when you do that, you feel like you're empowered. You will be happier. It improves your self-esteem. It improves your confidence. And it's incredible. You'll go sauntering into 2026, into that new year, and you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe I did it. That was amazing. And you're going to be the one with the running start going into January 1st versus everybody waiting at the starting line on January 1st. And as the gun goes off and everybody starts running, you're already going to have a running start and you're going to be running past them into the new year. That's what I want for you. So think about it like this. No one can care more about you than you. And you have the power to make wise choices. It starts today, and it starts with you. And so with that, I want to wish you all a very, very happy holiday. Be safe out there. If you have any questions, please drop them down below. And again, leave a nice comment. If you enjoyed this, recording, please share it with somebody who could benefit from the information and stay healthy through the holidays. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you on the next one.